Hey guys, so I want to do another game review, an RPG review, and I want to get to one that is considered by many the best RPG ever made. Um, I don't think it's the best ever made, but it's damn good. So let's talk about The Witcher 3, what it is, what it isn't, what makes it great, and what some of its flaws are, and try to be honest and talk about um, talk about these things. Okay, so first of all, Witcher 3 is a open world RPG, and it's a real RPG. It's not one of those haha nod nod wink wink RPGs like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Um, the combat in this, well, nah, let's not do combat. Let's do visuals first. Um, I'm getting 60 frames per second, and I'm running this thing pretty. Let me see here. See, we can take a look here. So I got VSync on. You can see I got maximum frames per second pegged at 60. I'm playing it at 1440p, and okay, game. So you can see here lots of settings. So you can see I have many of these settings on ultra. Um, I think I pulled a few things down just a little. I don't have the world's strongest computer. I'm playing on an i7 6700K overclocked to 4.5 gigahertz, 16 gigs of RAM, and a EVGA GeForce 1080. Not a 1080 Ti, just a standard 1080. So, I don't have the strongest computer possible. I have a very middle of the road computer. But if you know anything from watching my videos and my channel, um, graphics are not a primary consideration for me. I like eye candy, but oh shit, oh shit, I better get out of here. Yeah, mama. Okay. Is he running? I haven't played in a while, so. So anyway, this is the combat. And I'm not the best. And as you can see, that was an 80 Necker. So the combat in this game is mainly slow attacks, heavy attacks, dodging, and parrying. Okay. um, it is similar to, let's say, Batman Arkham Asylum. Okay. I'm playing what's called a combat alchemy build, and so potions and potions, tinctures, and in this case, oils. And these oils um, go on your swords. You have two swords. You have a steel sword for humans and a silver sword for monsters. And so what I have to do is I have to pick the right oil for the right bad guy. And so what you do is you come here into the bestiary and you look up a Necker. You just go through here and go, okay, what's a Necker? What's a Necker? You're looking for the broad category. Okay. Um, aren't Neckers I haven't played in like a year. Yeah, they're Ogroids. Okay, so and as you play through the game, you'll get good at this. And so you come through here and you look for your Ogroid armor, oil. It's probably the very last damn. It's always the last oil. And there it is. And then you do E, and it'll default to Silver Sword. And you go, yes, please. And then you come out here, and you have magical spells. I use Quen. Okay, so my Quen just broke. So now, put my Quen back up. Quen just broke again, so now I need to get Quen back up again. I can't, so I'm just gonna have to stay mobile. As you can see, I'm just not that good. You see here, and I need an R. All right, and then you're just trying to. And like I said, I'm super rusty. I'm sorry. Don't come here for hey, how to be great at Witcher 3 combat. I'm not great at Witcher 3 combat. You know, I'm okay. So that's the combat. You might not like the combat.
Surface here, dig their way out.
I hated the combat when I first. I bought the game when it first came out, and I hated it. I really did. I absolutely hated it. I gave it a low rating on Steam. I played all the way through what I consider Act 1, which is what's called the Bloody Baron. And I hated it. And then more and more reviews started coming in, and people just started screaming about how much they love this game. And I'm like, and I kind of let things go for about a year, and then I went back. And the reason I went back was because I found this video from a guy, and I don't remember his name, I'm sorry. I did not invent the combat alchemy build, okay? I'm not that good at Witcher. So so here's your character builder. This is from this thing right here, and this line here. This is from the expansion, from the DLC. So you won't get this until higher level and much later. And so you have essentially, you have combat, and you just work your way down the line, okay? And as you can see, the lines aren't directly linked. You don't have to take arrow deflection to get fleet-footed. But what you have to do is you have to spend, is it going to tell us? No, it won't tell us. But you have to spend, I believe it's 5 points. You have to have either 3 or 5 points spent to go to this line. And then, like, 10 points or something to hit this level. And then on and on and on. Okay? So it's not exactly like a skill tree where each node is unlocked as you go. It's just the number of points you've spent in the combat school. Okay? So combat is just what it sounds like. It's swinging your swords, and it's, excuse me, it's shooting your crossbow. Okay? And then you have, this is your magical signs. You have Ard. So this is a telekinetic blast that staggers opponents. This can be really good against certain foes. Igni. This is just fire. This is a fire blast. Some people love it. If you really spec into it, see here it says additional points needed to unlock 9, and you'll see I only have 3 points spent. Okay, because I don't go really hard into the signs. This is not a sign build. There are sign builds, and if you want to use magic, you need to go out there and research that. And then here's alchemy. So this is crafting potions, and there's a lot of power in here. There's a lot of power hiding down in here, and it's really a really powerful tree, branch, whatever. Here's your general. This is just this is where you'll pick your armor type. And so you see I've taken cat school technique. So each piece of light armor increases critical hit damage by 25% and fast attack by 5%. Okay, those are signs. And so this is where I decided to come back, because I discovered this other YouTuber's combat alchemy build. And I don't remember if he said it or if I thought it, but I was watching the build and I thought to myself, hey, what if I could take the combat system that I don't like and cut it in half? Effectively, what I would do is I would ignore parry, I would ignore strong attacks, and I would just do dodge rolls and quick attacks, and rely on the alchemy potions to buff me up. And it works. It works great. And it allowed me to simplify the combat system that I don't like and get the combat to a place where I could at least put up with it. Because I don't like the combat in this game. I simply don't like it. That's personal preference. You may like it, which is why when I review things, I try to explain why I like them and why I don't like them. And then that, because so much of this is subjective. Okay? And so if we're dealing with something that's subjective and we can't be completely objective about it, then it's a good idea for us to explain why we like and don't like some things. And then that way people can come in here and go, okay. Shit. Then, if you like if you like this style of combat, see, there goes my Quinn. And you can see these guys are much higher level than me. Yeah. Let me hit a Thunderbolt. Did I do it? Yeah, I did. So you watch how this combat works, and then you can decide for yourself if this is the type of combat that you enjoy. If you like Batman Arkham Asylum, I think you'll like this combat system. If you like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I think you'll like this combat system. See, I have to be careful. I do extra damage when I'm at full health. So it's really important for me to not take damage. So as you watch this, and maybe you're trying to make the decision if you want to buy Witcher 3, you want to take a really hard, long look at this combat system. And it is working just fine out here. One of the things that annoys me to death about this game is
Necker's surface here.
with all the rolling around, in other settings, you will roll into obstacles. What? Oh, you will roll into obstacles. You will roll into armor racks and bushes and trees and fences. It'll either mess up your roll or you'll get stuck on it. And it is incredibly frustrating. Oh, I didn't get on. I didn't get all the loot. I wanted the loots. Okay, so that's the combat system. That's the graphics. Sound and music. Um, the music is good. I like the music. It's very immersive. It's appropriate for the setting. It's well done. They've hired some really gifted and talented musicians to play um, some medieval style, really, really nice music. I've always been very impressed. The sound effects are good. The problem is if you can hear the wind, this is the windiest fucking place I've ever played in. You can see the wheat. It's just constantly blowing and shimmering, and there's always this low level wind, even high level wind, and you can see the trees just going nuts. It, it it's not the best. Okay, it's just not the best. That is a little bit of a nitpick. Okay, and so I'm not taking off points for that. I'm just saying it's a little annoying. Gear. The game has really good gear. It's a good gear system. I think it's a lot of fun to go. It's fun to go out and collect gear and look for new swords and look for new armor. You can see this is Undvik. So this is some, and you see it's labeled light. It's actually heavy armor. Those resistances are really good. Um, so there's armor to buy. There's armor to find. There's quests to go get gear. Um, the gear system is excellent. You should be able to find something for you to enjoy. Now, when it comes to weapons, you're going to be using long swords. Okay? Sorry. It is what it is. Geralt is a longsword wielder, and yeah, you'll find the occasional axe or club or whatever, but I don't think anybody uses them. You know, and the crossbow. I I'm not an expert at building characters for this game, which is why I don't have any videos on tons and tons of Witcher 3 builds, because I'm not an expert. I have my combat alchemy build that I like and that it works. I put a video up for it, and it's my most popular video, but I'm not an expert. Okay. So the gear is fun. Now let's go ahead and look at the the main thing for this game, in my opinion. The reason why you're playing Witcher 3. Okay, look at this. It's a really big world. And this is one zone of, so I'm in Velen, okay? You can go to Novigrad. This is just a little side area. This is that? Wait a minute. There's a starter area that isn't as, and then Skellige is just as big as Velen. Let's bounce up to Novigrad. Let me show you a city. Oh, and the load times in this game are, as you can see, they're not that bad. Now, I have a really good, I have an Evo Plus. I have a 1 terabyte Evo Plus, Samsung Evo Plus, NVMe SSD. So I have a really fast drive. Okay, so here's the city. This is the main city. This is the biggest city in the game. And it's beautiful. It's nice, you can. What the fuck?
Last individual who tried to come in on my business, it took them a month to find him. Am I being clear, Chive?
What's the fuss about? Why you even talk?
Oh God, I don't even remember. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Hold on a minute.
What's this about?
What's this about?
Just wanted you to meet my new pal.
We'll have our reckoning.
What's this? Some flea take a peek at what he's got inside, then
Next time, Earl.
Right, don't
Oh God.
What's this all about?
Yeah, okay, I remember.
Exactly.
About
Okay, just get through all this.
getting
Not
fine. What's
Fringilla.
Wade?
Nah, it's not. Unfortunately,
Zed?
Yeah, I
Big
remember
fish.
this.
Nope.
Okay, so I forgot where I was. This is a new game plus, and I haven't played it in like a year, so I forget where I was. So the story in this game is very, very good. But you have to be very careful when you say that, because people might. This game has the best side quests of any RPG I've ever played. Hands down. Fantastic side quests. They have depth, they have complexity, they have interesting characters, and these characters have depth and complexity and different motivations. So that aspect of it is excellent. The main story is good. It is not excellent. People rave about the main story because they confuse the main story with side quests. The main story is actually very simplistic until you hit Act 4, when things start to really open up. The first part of the game, I won't do any spoilers, but in this game, Geralt has an adopted, good lord, daughter named Ciri. Okay, Ciri is really cool. She's an excellent character. Geralt is really cool. He's an excellent character. And Geralt has tried to raise her as his daughter, and she has been training as a witcher. She's become a formidable warrior, but she has these magical powers that she has a hard time controlling. And then, for reasons that you don't understand, this mystical band of elves called the Wild Hunt has begun to hunt her and is trying to capture her. So Ciri has fled, and she's using magical means to fly, to teleport, and to escape the Wild Hunt. The first 3 acts of the game is just Geralt going from spot to spot to spot, chasing Ciri. That's it. Okay? Let's not overstate the story of Witcher 3. The first 3 acts are very simplistic. Now, what's cool is that when you hit each of these locations in Act 1, 2, and 3, what you find are very interesting side quests, and that's what they are. Okay? The main quest is Geralt's trying to find Ciri. That's the main story. That's the main plot. When you hit Act 1, you are introduced to this character called the Bloody Baron. He is an absolutely fascinating, well-written character. He has tons of flaws, but he does have positive traits as well. He has sins and he has virtues. He's not didactic. He's complex. And so the Bloody Baron knows where Ciri went. She was with him, now she's not, and he makes you jump through a series of hoops before he'll tell you where Ciri went. Okay? And this is what happens in Acts 1, 2, and 3. You're trying to get information on where Ciri went in each of these acts, and you have to run these side quests that are very, very well done. But they're side quests, folks. Okay? But now, Act 4, things open up. The plot becomes more complicated, more interesting, more sophisticated, and it is very well written. And I'm not ragging on Witcher 3's story per se. I'm just pointing out that we need to be very careful about what we say when we say story in a computer RPG. You know, Act 2 is here in Novigrad. It is well written. I don't enjoy it as much as others. It's far less combat focused. It kind of gets on my nerves at times. There is another side quest here where you're working with a former spy master that is excellent. It's very well written, a lot of fun. The former spy master is a really cool character. Act 3 moves to Skellige. Skellige is my favorite zone. It's my favorite part of the story. But again, it's you go to Skellige and they're like, oh, Ciri was here, and you're like, where'd you go? Well, I'll help you, but go get me the MacGuffin and go solve this problem and go solve that problem. Now, all of those side quests are very well done, but they are side quests. Okay? So, when it comes to story, I think this game is excellent. The content it has is very well written. It's well acted. The characters are interesting. They have depth. They have complexity. Geralt is constantly interacting with this cadre of female mages. There's Yennefer. There's Triss. There's a few others I don't remember. They're very well done. They're interesting women. They're not one-dimensional. They're not just sex kittens. They're not just powerful mages. They're people, and they have, they have motivations and flaws, and they have positive characteristics, and you can hear the music here, how well it's done. It's very well done. So story, I have to rate it excellent. Combat, I personally rate it average. In terms of content, how much gameplay you get here, it's almost unparalleled. Only games like Skyrim and Fallout can compete with this game when it comes to stuff to do. It should take you somewhere around 100 hours to finish the main game, and then if you get the expansion packs, Blood Wine and Heart of Stone, you're going to get at least 40, if not more. Let me see here, I think I have 200 hours in this save game right here. See if does it tell us? No, it doesn't tell us, does it? Oh, well, that's too bad. But yeah, if I go out and look at my Steam, it shows 260 hours in Witcher 3, and I know about 40 or 50 of that is in my first time through. So I have well over 200 hours just in this playthrough right here. There's tons to do, and it's fun. It's not busy work. It's not grindy. Now, one thing about the story, it's dark at times. It is dark. It can get a little nihilistic at times, especially Act 1. Act 1 it's so depressing. And Act 1 is where I quit the first time, because I was just so beat down by the negativity and the dark tone, and I just didn't like it. But what I found when I came back this time, I played it and got further. I got into Act 2. Act 2 kind of bored me a little bit. Like I said, I did like the Spy Master. But when I got to Act 3 and I got to Skellige, man, I was just so happy. Skellige was so much fun. Easily Act 3 is my favorite act in this game. Love Skellige. And Act 4 is good. Act 4 is kind of the finale. Yeah, so story. Now, I watched a video a few months ago, and it's called The Daddening of Video Games, or PC games. Daddening of whatever. I forget the name of the channel. I'm sorry. If I find it, I'll link it in the description. This fellow pointed out something that is so true about this game, and I think it's why people love it. Geralt he's a badass. He's the male fantasy archetype. He's tough, he's strong, he kicks everybody's asses. He doesn't take any shit. He's your typical Clint Eastwood tough guy. He gets out here, he's got his armor on, he's got his swords, and he whoops ass. He beds different beautiful women, has sex with them. By the way, there is sex in this game, so if you've got problem with sex scenes in video games, this isn't the game for you. So he is this male fantasy, and so you start playing the game, and you're thinking of this simplistic, shallow view of masculinity. But then you get into the relationship between Geralt and Ciri, and you start to see the complexity there, and you get into the relationship between Geralt and Yennefer, and Geralt and Triss, and you start to see complexity there, and it gets more it's more sophisticated. It's more it rings true, especially between Geralt and Ciri. There are several dialogue choices along throughout the main story where you can choose how Geralt interacts with Ciri, and these matter. There's 3 different endings to this game. 2 of them are pretty good. One of them is really dark. Okay, I was really happy with the end of this game, and I won't spoil it, but I was very happy with the very positive, the very nurturing view of fatherhood this game takes. You know, it's not this silly, simplistic, childish view. It's not a. You can actually be a positive father figure for Ciri, and Geralt can help her in ways that you don't normally see in video games. It's very sophisticated. It's very refreshing, and so Geralt gets this added layer of complexity to him that makes him much more interesting than your normal hack and slash fantasy male archetype. Okay, I think that's what a lot of people love about this game when they talk about the story. I think people tend to conflate aspects of a game or of a book or of a television show as story, air quotes, when it's not story, it's character development. And so the character development between Geralt and Ciri is very sophisticated, it's very interesting, and it's very refreshing to see in a computer role-playing game. This is the kind of thing you don't see in most role-playing games. This level of character development. And that's why I think Witcher 3 is a 9 out of 10. I don't like the combat. I take points off for combat. I don't have hardly any bugs. It's never been a buggy game. I will take points off for early on you need to steal everything. So, half a point off for the combat that I don't like, and half a point off for, stealing, and the game sometimes indulges in its nihilism. It's just like, how bad can we make it? And then at the end of the story, as a player, you're used to, I can do a good ending, I can do a middle ending, I can do a bad ending. No. Witcher 3, it's going to be, can I take the shittiest ending, or a shitty ending, or a quasi-shitty ending? Especially in Act 1. It's really dark, it's really nihilistic in Act 1. And that just gets old to me. If you like a darker story, if you like a grittier story, it's definitely realistic. Absolutely. It's just Act 1 is so dark that it really grates on me. Now later, there is a payoff for the setup in Act 1, but you have to stick with the game, and that can be 80 hours before you're going to see that payoff and get some satisfying resolution to some of the dark nihilistic things that happened in Act 1. But still, 9 out of 10. Fantastic game. Definitely an all-time classic. If you like computer role-playing games, and if you like this 3D isometric view, if you either like this style of combat, or if you can put up with this style of combat, buy it. It's absolutely fantastic. If you can get the Game of the Year edition with the expansions, definitely grab them, because the expansions are excellent. They're very well done, especially Blood and Wine, because Blood and Wine has all the extra. It has this new mutation system over here, if I can find it. It has all this, okay, and then you can do C, and so it has this whole new advancement system, okay. Let's not make all the noise. But yeah, 9 out of 10, all-time classic. Uh, you know, pretty game, big world, nice large open world. I highly recommend it. And of course, there's the Witcher TV series, which is based on the books and the games. So, and there are books. So, if you like, oh, real quick, the world building. I'm not a fan of the world building. I don't think the world is explained well. I don't think the world is terribly interesting. This is definitely one of my least favorite gaming worlds. I tend to just ignore the world building because I don't find it to be particularly good or particularly interesting. And the sad truth is, you can drive right through the world building and mostly ignore it, and it won't affect your gameplay hardly at all. So, yeah, you know, points off for the world building. But then I add points back in for the sophistication of the character building, the characterization. The amount of content here is just fantastic. I mean, you know, if you take your time and sniff around, you ought to be able to go 200 hours in the main game, you know, or 150. If you rush through, you can probably rush through this in 30 or 40 hours, I would imagine. And anyway, 9 out of 10, all-time classic. I love this game. I highly recommend it for the reasons that I've described, and I've described its flaws, and then maybe you can use those descriptions to help you decide if Witcher 3 is for you. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys.